it's this road to clinical research or clinical research. It is booming. It is booming, and it's gonna boom for the next 6 years or 5 years because of the COVID vaccine, obviously. So it's gonna boom. They're gonna be looking for people. People are gonna be hiring. People are gonna be moving around. It's just it's happening. What I would really encourage people with BSc, especially your chemistry students, your biochemistry, it's hard out there. For us, it's bad, it's hard. We go through a lot. When you go to HPCSA, they told you you're not competent, you can't actually get that certificate. You go there to a lab technician, you can't even work in NHSL, the National Laboratory. You can't even work there. That's how hectic it is for us. So basically, this is like the industry for us to actually, I don't know, hold it with our clothes and then just, yeah, and go in with every force or in every level. So that's basically what I would wanna share or wanna tell people with the BSc degree to actually look into clinical research
And the money is good, right? I saw
oh,
you shared a post on LinkedIn the other time. They were looking for a research analyst, and I was looking at the salary because it was there on the paper.
it's not bad. It's really not bad. The money is good. It's very good.
So, when was the last time you laughed like your lungs out?
Yo, when I hike, there's always drama. There's always people going through the most on the mountain. So it's like I don't know, my special moment. And I laugh it out. We cry it out even. We go through a lot when we hiking. So yeah, hiking, it's where I do most of the things.
So, you love hiking, right?
I really do. Hey, I really think people should do it. I really would advocate. I would even be an ambassador. Let's hike, let's hike, let's hike. I would really, I would really be one of those. So yeah, it's cool, honestly.
Why do you love hiking so much? What is it about it, and what does it do to you? Because you are, like us, we just like, I mean, gradually, one day, okay, go hike kanyana, da. Um, I think the last time I hiked, I was in Cape Town in December, so I hiked at Sea Point. It was a beautiful hike, because the mountain there meets the sea, and
Mm,
I felt like the most the most cleanest air I've ever inhaled
yeah, and
was
it's like
there, like
fresh.
holy oxygen,
Eesh.
So
Now you're saying the right
it
things.
was nice.
Yeah. So you hit the right spot. So for me, man, hiking, it's where I don't know, man. I don't know how to put this. It's where I actually connect. I find Maropene. I discover her. I discover the type of person she is. I learn about her. I spend time with Maropene. It's a journey, and then it's healing. It's all of those things. So yeah, hiking for me, it's both spiritual, mental, and also physical, obviously. So yeah, I don't know how to put it, but then it's just one of those things that I would say it's like I'm switching off the plug from my work stress and everything. It's like one place that I can go to and actually be in tune, be maroping and laugh and yeah, just be myself. So I think that's what I love hiking.
The cool thing would be, I don't know if at, Maropeng, there is a place called Maropeng, I think,
I know
somewhere
it.
in Joburg.
Yeah, it's just
Um,
yeah, I know
the
it.
Creek
Yeah,
Love.
yeah, cradle of
Yeah. Are there
mentality.
any hiking trails there? Probably they should be.
They should be, but then it's not as intense as my hiking grade. It's just flat. You just walk
Ooh.
around. So it's yeah. So
So you're at a professional level.
I would say I'm giving you myself. I'm giving myself that status. Why not?
No, because no, you're very right, because you hiked the highest point
Mm.
in Southern Africa at 3,874 meters above sea level.
And
Where
also
was
the
this?
highest, it was in Lesotho, Tabanjengana. I hiked from the South African border up while people were riding their big cars. I was hiking up 9 kilometers and going to the highest bar in Lesotho in Seni Pass. And then Seni Pass, I hiked 32 kilometers to and from where I was sleeping, and then went to the summit, and then we came back. We started at 5 o'clock. We arrived at 7. My feet, yeah, ish, but it was worth it. It was fulfilling. It was one of those I am a force to be reckoned with. You start to understand what life means or your purpose in a sense. I don't know how, but I think a few people only understand what hiking or how hiking makes you feel in a nutshell.
I think the metaphor of it is so in January last year I was at the Drakensberg,
Mm,
um, and we hiked a part of the Drakensberg. But on the day that we were hiking, the weather was
mm.
not good. It was actually a bit raining, and
It's
but we went.
Drakensberg for
There was
you.
like fog, there was mist and stuff, and yeah, the hiking was a bit tough, especially for someone like me who doesn't hike as usual. Um, but there was something, when we got up there, because the thing about hiking is that the moment you get up there, you just
Mm.
appreciate even the view and everything like that and
Imagine.
stuff like that. But
Yeah.
something, but something when I was there, the metaphor of it, I was like, this is life.
Mm.
You know, the figurative of it going up, is a bit tougher and stuff like that. You go up hills,
Yeah.
down hills and
That's
stuff,
how I
and then you
always
get up there,
yeah.
you get what I'm
And then you
saying? And you
stop with
start to
people you're
appreciate the view.
yeah, and then you're working with people, people are fasting, and then now they stopping, and then you passing them. It's life. It's generally like how life is in a nutshell. So it's like people are going to get tired, and you going fast, you going slow. It's just basically everything how life is. So that's why I enjoy hiking. It's my thing.
And you can go through, and you are ahead, and then the next thing you're stopping. The person who was below you, they are now ahead of you. Like,
Mm,
at some point you have to uplift someone. So when I was there, I was
yeah.
like, wow, this is the philosophy of this. There's a philosophy into this. So you say you are still recovering from a hike. You did
Yeah,
some
I
hike
did.
last week.
Yeah, I did one in Maropene. Johannesburg, I love it. I would say it's my playground. So I was doing a 43 kilometers there. So yeah, the weather was intense, raining, sunny, all of those. But yeah, we managed to summit in 3 days. So yeah, so I'm still recovering and we'll go back to gym.
How often do you do this?
I want to do it every month. But I try to do it so often I do it every 2 months, but I want to do it every month. It's like I would want to do it every month.
Wow, this is amazing. This is very interesting. Okay, I'm joined today by Maropeng Monyemangene, um, clinical research associate. So today we're gonna get clinical. I just like the word clinical. It just has a twang to it.
Mm. Look at you.
Yeah, it does has a twang to it. So
Yeah.
Maropeng is a clinical research associate. We're going to be talking a lot about that, her job and what a career and what does it entail basically. And also she's an ambassador at Black Women in Clinical Research. But like I'm aside, Bonan used to
Yeah.
have that, you know, you know.
Seven's girl.
So then's a girl. You know, you strike me as someone who is an education enthusiast because you are coding, you are into clinical research, you are a clinical research associate, which is in the pharmaceutical, and coding is perceived to be in the tech. Um, I read somewhere that you began your LLB degree at UNISA.
Yeah.
You enrolled for 4IR Engineering Technology Program at UJ. You are into cybersecurity. Like all of these things.
So, Nay, we will start with understanding why we're doing that. Again, the reason for fourth industrial is just for me not to be redundant. People in my career, either they would do their masters, which is actually not used, or do their PhD, which they won't even use it in clinical research. So, Mina, I decided to actually branch into fourth industrial revolution, which would incorporate my understanding of the healthcare space and clinical research, which is drug discovery or drug development, and try to incorporate it. So now I actually want to write a paper which actually links the two: clinical research, drug development, as well as fourth industrial, and then try to marry them and see how we can, find solutions to make the healthcare space actually better or improve it in any way possible. So that's my thought line. It's just me don't not wanting to be redundant, wanting to be relevant. Relevance is very important.
You have to.
So it's one of those skills that I felt was very important than having a qualification that I would sit with and not actually use it. So that's the basic reasoning behind everything.
Wow, like this is well thought out, you know. It means that you actually sat down and be like, okay, where are the trends going? Because sometimes I think as people we really don't think about, okay, how the future looks and
Exactly.
how do I then equip myself for that. And I think that's why right now, especially with 4IR, then you have people also having this fear of losing jobs and stuff like that. I'm always like, guys,
Mm,
why don't we just upskill ourselves so that when that thing comes, of which is already here,
exactly.
then we're able to, align with it rather than just sitting there and be like, re tla di bona ko pele. So now, let's talk about clinical research associate. Um, when you wake up every day and go to work, what do you do at work as a clinical research associate?
So I think it's only fair, Ben, because I'm Maropeng Agere. I love to start with history. Agere, my name is returning to a place of origin, Agere. So we need to understand what is clinical research, what is it, what is it,
Yeah,
so that we can
true.
understand what Maropeng does, so that it's
That's
actually
true.
engraved in people's mind, and then they have a story they can understand. Okay, from A to B, this is how it goes. So I will start with what clinical trials are. Akere. So clinical trials basically it's an investigation of human subjects intended so it's like an investigation on human subjects meaning only human, not animals, to discover or verify the clinical, sorry about that, the pharmacodynamics or pharmacology as well of investigational products. As an investigation in human subjects are intended to discover or verify the clinical or the pharmacological or the pharmacodynamics of an investigational product. Okay. So this investigational product, mind you, I'm not saying it's a drug. I know people say drugs. It's not a drug. It's a study drug or an investigational product. It could be a medical device. It could be injection. It could be tablets. It could be capsules or whatnot. So that's why we classify it under investigational product. So clinical trials. I will just give you an example so that you understand what I'm actually onto. You remember, I think it was 562 BC, book one of Daniel, I think, when they had 5 men or 10 men, I get. they actually studied five were given fruit and veggies and water, and the other five were given nothing but royal food, those nice foods from the royalty. And then after that, after a specific time, they actually checked who were stronger, who were more healthier, who were more capable of doing certain things. And then they noticed that the ones that were given fruits and veggies were more stronger, were more nutritional, were more all of those. But those ones who were given royalty food were actually more slow, and not strong enough. So from there, you can see they were trying to see or to check what works, what doesn't work. How are we going to, I don't know, define or check or measure certain things based on the drugs or based on the medication or certain things. So it's basically along those lines. So that's what clinical trials is. It's like investigating so that you can see or determine what works, what doesn't work, so that you can verify if this is actually safe to use, it's actually correct to be the doses, all of those. So when you open your medication, let's say you bought a Panado, you will open, there's a package insert. So you read, okay, the doses, take 2 per day, take 4. That's where we get that information from clinical trials to enable us to write that package insert so that you can know how many to take, how to do it, the doses. In case of overdose, that's basically, I would say, a nutshell of clinical trials, but people can read more about clinical trials on Google or other platforms. So, yeah.
So now, with you guys as clinical research associate, what are you doing the clinical trials on? Is it on the
Okay.
drugs?
I am on drugs. There's certain clinical research associates who are in medical devices. I'm on drugs. I don't want to call it drugs. I want to say investigational products because I'm both
Why
oncology.
don't you
Sometimes
wanna?
it's injections, sometimes it's, so I want to say investigational products to protect my career. I don't want to say drugs because,
Oh.
drugs can be perceived as something different. So to be safe, I'm going to say an investigational product. So yeah,
Sure,
basically
sure,
I'm on the
sure.
investigational products, which is medication, oncology, and as well as capsules or tablets. Some people are doing medical devices.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. So that's why, because I hear the word like clinical. I think the last time I spoke to someone who is a clinical psychologist, and that's why I always stuck to the word clinical, clinical, clinical. But I think you've explained it very well to say clinically, it means that you do some trials before to check if this will work and if this doesn't work and stuff like that. I think most of us were introduced to this during the whole COVID thing because there was always
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
hullabaloo about the what is this the vaccines. Some people felt like were there enough trials that have been done on these vaccines to validate their prowess and if they are working,
Hypothesis
and
and all that.
I
Yeah.
think that's where, yeah, and I think it's a very big debate even now. You still have anti-vaxxers, and
Mm.
it still
And I
goes
won't
on
touch on
and stuff.
that.
Um,
I won't
yeah, no,
touch
it's a
on that.
controversial issue.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, my belief or my thought line is if you've vaccinated for polio, if you vaccinated for TB and other things, I don't know the whole idea of you not vaccinating on uh, those medication. But then I understand where people are coming from, and then if it, what works for you doesn't work for me, so it's okay. I think people have the right to choose at the end of the day. So do you
so
want me
so
to
just yeah,
do you want me to give you a breakdown of what clinical research associate is, or were you coming there?
please do.
Okay, so now, as I stated, that's clinical trials. So now, clinical research is A clinical research associate is a person who would go to investigational site. An investigational site is an area. It could be a hospital. It could be in a place where doctors, investigators, we call them investigators, they are doctors in this sense, would be conducting clinical trials on their patients. Sometimes some people call them participants, but then I call them patients. And then they would come in and then get those medication, and then they would conduct the whole trial. Where I come in, I would come to verify, check the compliance as per the protocol. The protocol is a document that is given out by a specific sponsor to ensure that everything is done in accordance. You do it step by step. If you're going to be taking medication 2 times a day, it's like a guideline of what you need to do to conduct that particular trial or that particular trial. So I would be verifying if you are in compliance. I would be verifying this. I would be checking the site if they are in compliance with that. I would also be checking if they are adhering to the GCP. I would also be checking the most important thing, the safety of the participants, to ensure that you're not harming the participant in any way. I would be verifying certain things which I need to check based on what you have done, your data that you would be putting on the software that we will be equipping you with, and then ensuring that everything is adhered to, and then you're putting the correct information. Because some people can say they have patients, but then they don't have patients. They just are cooking the numbers. Some doctors or some sites, we have come across those. So it's just to verify that whatever that you say, if you say you're having 15 patients, I need to verify that you have 15 patients before we can actually pay you or give you whatever that's meant for you. So it's basically, I'm like a policeman. I don't want to say policeman because I don't want people to view me as that. I'm like a person who's going to verify, who's going to check, who's going to monitor if everything is done according to how it's supposed to be done. So basically, I would be going to sites from Pretoria to Cape Town. Next week, I'm going to PE, to all of the sites that are actually part of the protocol or part of the study that I'm part of. And then I'll be checking and verifying if they're doing everything. If I have issues, I'm going to ask them, why is this like this? Why is that like this? And then I need to report it and write it in my report, and it's sent to the sponsor.
So you say you don't want to be called a police person,
I would
but
say
basically, but isn't that also policing? Because it gives me
it is.
the vibes of, you have what do they call it? I think you have the tax ombudsman. You
Mm,
also have the health ombudsman, and
mm.
then their role is just to, within tax issues, or the health ombudsman within health issues, to check if things are done correctly, and
Exactly.
so that
Compliance.
things,
Mm,
compliance.
compliance.
So do you work with like hospitals?
We work with a lot of hospitals. We work with a lot of doctors. So we work with clinical research sites. Some you would find that they are, let's say it's a normal clinic, but then it's a feeder. At the back there would be like a clinical research site. Let's say the patient is not, they not some of them, they're not getting enough medication, or they're not suitable. The medication that they're using, let's say for an OA, osteoarthritis, a drug that I once worked with, you would find that they're still having pain even after they take whatever that the doctor prescribed. I get. So then the doctor would see, okay, we have a clinical study that is actually would be suitable for the likes of you, and then they put them on that study, so that they go in, and then they they become part of the study, and then they join, and then they consent, and then they go to do their MRIs, their X-ray, and it's all free, and it's not paid by them. It's actually paid by the sponsor. So yeah, it's kind of, in a sense, I would say helping them, in a sense, I would say.
Oh, I see. So just so that people don't get confused,
Mm.
so you are actually based in a pharmaceutical company
Yes.
um, that we can mention.
No, no. A pharmaceutical company, yes, it's also called a sponsor. Remember, it could be any pharmaceutical company, it could be a sponsor. Some companies are both a pharmaceutical, some are both a biotech, some are clinical research organization. So, clinical research organization, it's where, um, okay, the sponsor, being the pharmaceutical company, would hire them, contract them.
Before that, the sponsor. When you say sponsor, what do you mean? Do you mean like just elaborate on that?
A sponsor is a person who would be sponsoring the whole. It's basically it's their drug, it's their
Oh,
medication. If let's say we are testing an HIV company that is developing an HIV drug, they are the sponsor. I get. Do you get me?
oh, I see.
So they
I
are
see.
the sponsor. They would be a pharmaceutical company or they would be a biotech company. So we have clinical research organizations which are contracted by sponsor to do the work they work on their behalf. So in a clinical research organization, it's a much bigger setting. There's quality management. There's more opportunities as opposed to the sponsor, which is only clinical, where you're only looking at the clinical component. But then in a clinical research organization, there's like data management, there's like quality management, there's like SAS programming, there's like biostatisticians, all working within that clinical trial or within that clinical study to ensure or to ensure that everything is done in accordance. Some would be looking at the data, some would be looking at the stats, some would be looking at different components, but all working within that study. So that's why I'm saying with the sponsor, it's a bit, I would say, a bit small as opposed to a clinical research organization, which is a much broader. It has different sectors, which gives people the opportunity. If you're tired of being a clinical research associate, you can be a stats developer. I saw um, a question that you sent. How do you link one into those? So when you're working in one of those, when you feel like clinical research is not your thing, you could do a program at University of Stellenbosch for stats programming and actually branch into that and become a stats programmer. So it's like a link. Everything is kind of interjoined, and yeah, it's like a story or whatnot.
It,
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
does sound like a very, you know, collaborated ecosystem where there are
exactly.
different, professions, working towards the same goal and
Yeah.
stuff, which is very quite interesting, you know. Um, you guys travel a lot. You say you travel a
We
lot,
do, we do, we
doing
do, we
this.
do. We do. So with me,
Yeah.
I don't. For now, I'm on oncology. Oncology studies you need to go there every 3 months. So based on your protocol or based on your document that tells you what you need to do, I would go to sites every week. Pretoria, and next week it's Cape Town, next week it's Durban, next week it's PE, next week it's Volcom. Every week you're going somewhere, especially if it's a vaccine, because a vaccine study is a bit fast. You need to ensure that patients are vaccinated. You need to check if everything is done in order in a short period of time, and then it's hectic. You need to keep waking up. You're sleeping in planes. You just, it's you on the roll with the vaccine studies most of the time. So we do travel a lot. If you traveling is not for you, I don't think you will survive.
Hey, Nankanona. The way I love traveling.
The thing is, Utoba, you travel like you travel. You go to the beach, ning ning, but you still have. Imagine I'm traveling. If I'm traveling in the whole month, I'm traveling to 6 or 7 sites. It means that I have 7 reports. And I need to submit all of those
Oops.
7 reports in 7 days. And then I need to plan my times, and then I need to be sure that I need to make sure that I'm also there for other sites that needs me. Whenever I'm traveling, I need to be available at all times. So it's based on how you, I would say, organize your time. You have to have good time management. You have to have good organizational skills. You have to have good. The one thing that I think people should also look for is to have attention to detail. Whenever you're going through those files, you need to see what happened. You need to be able to like make a story for yourself. Like, why is this patient not getting this? Why, ask those relevant questions so that the site can actually answer you before you leave, so that you do not deviate from the protocol, and ensure that the drug, no, the investigational product, not the drug that you actually are investigating is actually going to be very correct. You did your utmost best, because imagine if I'm not doing my job correctly. Do you understand the consequences if I'm not doing what I need to do? At the end of the day, they would register a drug, or they would register a medication that is not that is not good enough. That's not even that. I don't know how to put this, but it's not effective. The most important thing, it's not effective. You be putting something out there that is supposed to be a pain medication, but that it's not actually taking away the pain, because a person or someone did not do what they needed to do. So basically, that's why, as you stated before, the stats programming, the biostatisticians, everyone working in that clinical research or that clinical study, they need to do what they need to do so that everyone delivers, and then we ensure that the correct medication is actually on the shelf, and then it's correct, it's good for you to use. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that is a. If one makes a mistake, it can be a very costly mistake because it can cost a
Exactly.
life, I think.
In a
You know.
nutshell, in a
Um,
nutshell.
so, just for the audience, you yourself, you are based in a pharmaceutical company. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right? Right?
Yes, yes, I'm
Oh,
based in a
okay.
pharmaceutical
Um,
company.
you have studied. You have a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and botany.
Yes.
Um, and of course, the others, then you have a certificate in artificial
Mm.
intelligence in the 4IR. We're going to talk about that because there were a lot of questions on that. You have a postgraduate degree in artificial intelligence in the 4IR. All of these are from UJ, and the cybersecurity, I think, from Cisco Networking Academy.
Mm.
How did you get into this space?
Yeah, that's a very important question, Ben. I need to emphasize that that's a very important question, because what I've come to realize, especially on my LinkedIn, my messages, I always get that question, no matter how many times I try to post to try to tell people about how we actually break into this industry. It's not known. It's not known. So how I got to break into clinical research was in when I was doing my last year, I was caught in between working in a lab, and then I was like, so I'm gonna work at the lab as a lab technician, and then if I'm going to be a lab technician, I need to have an HPPSA, HPCSA certificate certifying that I'm actually a lab tech. And then, based on my qualification as a biochemist, I cannot have that, because we are limited. We need to be medical technologists, so we are limited with opportunities in a sense. Then I'm looking. I'm like, okay, let's do PGCE and go teach children. And then I'm like, oh God, you know how much I'm not tolerant. I'm not tolerant of children, so how will I do this? And then, you know I started praying and crying and all that. You become very stressed, to be honest, because you at a point where you on your last year, you have debt, you have debt, like school debt that you need to pay. You need to look after your parents and all that, as coming from a very a struggling background, you would need to look into those. So then you're like, ish, what's gonna happen? So I'm one vocal person. I like to ask. I would speak to everyone. I would speak to lecturers. So at some point, I was at Dorfontein campus, and I spoke to one lecturer who was a pharmacology lecturer. She's like, there's a career in clinical research. I want to take you to what you call a conference, a SACRA conference, and I want you to network. I want you to talk to people. I want you to ask them what they do, how they broke in, what to do, and all that. So that opportunity, I used it to the best of my ability, and I jumped into it. So then I went to Sacra, and then I network, I met a lot of people. After that, every day was my job to send a CV. Every day was my job to actually, because I collected a pile of business cards from that conference, Sacra, which is the South African Clinical Research Associate Organization. So you can check it out on LinkedIn. It's there. I can share it with you after we're done so that you can share it with your viewers. Whenever they're having certain events, you can pop in and actually go to those events. So yeah, that's when I was at that conference, I got the opportunity to network, and then I sent my CVs, I sent my I told people what I wanted to do, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But then I just wanted them to give me the opportunity to be an intern, to volunteer, to actually learn what this industry is about. And then, luckily enough, around when I was about to complete my last year in October, November, I got an opportunity to come to. So I got the opportunity to I got an opportunity, I applied, and then one of the people from that conference called me, and then I became an intern. So when I was an intern there, I was exposed to project management for clinical research. I was exposed to regulatory for clinical research. I was also exposed to quality management. So I got a feel of what clinical research is in 1 year. In just 1 year, I was able to figure out to actually join the puzzle and actually understand what this industry is about. And I got an opportunity to go study further at UK, where I did a course for clinical research, an in-depth course about clinical research, on what it's about, what it entails, the details and everything. And then I came back to South Africa. So based on that opportunity, that's when I worked as a data coordinator. This is one thing that other BSc students can look into. You can work at a site level and become a data coordinator. Data coordinator coordinates every data that is related to that particular study. So they would ensure that data is entered timelessly, is correct data, everything, so that they can actually speak to the monitor when they come, what happened, how this came about, every information related to data. And then quality as well. You can ensure that your processes are in place, your quality, whatever that you put, whatever that you did, the times and everything. So the quality, you would also look into that. If you're a BSc student, that's what you can also do. Unfortunately, people who are BSc student cannot work with patients because we're not medically trained. So you would need to have either a nursing degree for you to actually work with the patients and then do their vitals, do everything that needs to be done for that particular clinical study. So I spent 1 year doing a data coordination. That's where I learned a lot of the ropes, how people do things, how actually this is integrated, how everything was linked, and I learned a lot in that space at site level. And then from there, I realized that I was limited because I wanted to explore the sponsor, I wanted to explore the clinical research organization. So I would say my first real job which I landed after site was at a clinical research organization. That's where I understood that systems, mind you, in clinical research, whether it's a different sponsor or it's a different CRO, we all use the same systems. we use basically the same system. So once you know the systems from another company, you would know them because we use network of the same systems because we need to use something that is the same for different sponsors because if it's all different we're just going to have chaos and all that. So my plan was to understand the systems first. So I mastered the systems in 6 months when I was a clinical research coordinator. People underestimate a clinical research coordinator. I think this is where you understand the ropes of the clinical research. You get to that opportunity to work in a pharma or in a clinical research organization and actually understand what is that, what is needed, how you should do it, how you should manage certain things, and then you become a support of a CRA, which is what I'm doing currently. And then from there you can actually grow your career. So what is nice about that is that you get an opportunity to be a jack of all trades. You know this, you know that, you know this, you know that. And then whenever you in a position or you need to figure or solve a problem, you've had the experience. You were once there, you were once down there, you were like, nah, man, I know how your tricks are. I was used to do that. So you would have more exposure, you would have more experience, and then you would come out more strongly than your other colleagues. So I would really emphasize or actually encourage people who want to join the space to not just jump into clinical research associate and just maybe build and then understand the industry much better.
So here is somebody, maybe this is somebody who is no longer a student, or even students as well. So they want to join this career. You know, what would you say that they must do if they come to you and be like, "Wow, I want to join this." Maybe this is a student, or maybe this is someone was in another profession, but now I want to join this. What would be the first steps that you would say they must do?
Okay, I actually helped a lot of people that were from university and from changing different roles from biochemistry. Maybe they were in a lab and then they wanted to actually venture into my role. So I think you've seen that I'm very active on LinkedIn. I share a lot of posts that are
Yeah.
actually coming through to me. I share a lot of posts. What I would advise a person to do, you need to firstly be open to start from the bottom. There's no, I don't know how, I don't want to be, but then there's no shortcut. You need to be able to
Yeah.
allow yourself to start from the bottom and build your career from there. Some people are lucky enough to actually just apply and get straight into a CRO. Some apply straight in a sponsor. Some apply straight. So what I would suggest is that you ask a lot of sites. You network with a lot of investigators. Investigators are your PIs, which are your principal investigators. They are actually the owner of those sites. Sites are where a lot of people would start and then understand what clinical research is about. From there, when an opportunity arises or when you see something like a CTC, clinical trial assistant, or a clinical trial coordinator at a CRO, that's when you can send your CV, or you can ask a particular person who's actually part of that company to refer you. Referring is a very good way of actually you stand a good chance of actually landing a job, to be quite frank. Most It worked for me most of the time. I would send people, "Hi ma'am, hi sir," every time when I wanted a job I would just, "Hi sir, hi ma'am." And then some people
Yeah.
do get frustrated on LinkedIn, but that's how we network. LinkedIn is a networking and platform. We just gonna send you our DMs, and then we going. Some people are gonna ask for help, and then yeah, that's how it's gonna work. So basically, our network, and also ask for referral when you want a particular job or a particular role. So you would send that person and ask them to refer you, and then they would refer you, and then that's how you would stand a chance to actually break into the industry?
Like what I've been seeing, especially in the few years that I've been in academia, especially with students who do chemistry, biochemistry,
Mm,
biology, botany, zoology,
mm,
those type of studies, most of them, they graduate.
mm,
I'm not generalizing here, I'm just talking about the people that I know. They would graduate, and then after that, I guess they wouldn't get immediate employment, and some of
mm,
them then end up doing like your postgraduate diploma in management or business and
mm.
stuff like that, and then they branch
Oh,
into corporate and stuff like that.
yes.
So now, for because some of when other students see these things, then they get demotivated. They're like, okay, I'm gonna study biochemistry, where I'm gonna work and stuff like that. And to be quite honest, even myself, I didn't know about clinical research associated like this profession and stuff like that. So it seems like there is a space for people in this.
There is, to be quite frank. And then I don't know if you can go into LinkedIn, but then if I want to change my job today and want to work in a different company, I can just say, that's how we are. It's this road to clinical research or clinical research. It is booming. It is booming, and it's gonna boom for the next 6 years or 5 years because of the COVID vaccine, obviously. So it's gonna boom. It's they're going to be looking for people are going to be hiring, people are going to be moving around. It's just it's happening. There's HIV studies that are coming out. They want to improve the HIV medication. They want to, there's a lot with fourth IR. They want to make things much faster. So it's a booming industry. So basically, what I would what I would really encourage people with BSc, especially your chemistry students, your biochemistry, it's hard out there for us. It's bad, it's hard. We go through a lot. When you go to HPCSA, they told you you're not competent, you're not, you can't actually get that certificate. You go there to a lab technician, you can't even work in NHSL, the National Laboratory. You can't even work there. That's how hectic it is for us. So basically, this is like the industry for us to actually, I don't know, hold it with our clothes and then just, yeah, and go in with every force or every in every level. So that's basically what I would wanna share or wanna tell people with the BSc degree to actually look into clinical research and then network, send your CVs, talk to people, managers. I used to speak to managers. I used to send managers an email or a message on LinkedIn. Hi, are you perhaps looking for people, graduates, and all that. That's how you can actually break into the industry. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna sit and feel sorry for yourself, no one is gonna come and save you. No one is gonna come and help you. This biochemistry, botany, and all that. It's either you become in academia, and then some of us do not have the luxury of being in academia. It's hectic. So either you get a job or you change your career or you start another degree. So basically, you need to, yeah, be patient and then break and then send your CVs. Do what you need to do. Don't give up.
So, in terms of studies, can anyone from any background of study branch into this career, or you have to come from the sciences?
Yeah, you need to come from the life sciences, preferably. Um, what I've come to see is that people with engineering, especially for okay, let me give you an example. A person who has studied, I can go, I can pursue masters in public health, and then major in epidemiology and biostatistician, and then become a biostat in another company, which is a CRO. Right? I can go to TUT. I think they offer quality management, and then apply for quality assurance auditor roles because I have that, based on what maybe I can do a
Sure.
postgrad diploma and then I have a BSc. I can just branch into that and then do a quality management qualification and then apply for those roles. I can also, for an engineering, for people with coding, especially computer sciences, they can look into SAS programming. They can look into biostats, which is booming, which is a lot of people don't. We don't have a lot of those. It's a shortage. We don't have a lot of those, especially in our industry. You'd find that I'm working with a biostat who's based in India because we don't have a lot in South Africa. So that's how, if you capitalize on those kind of things or those kind of programs or those kind of studies like computer science, and then try to bridge into stats programming from the University of Stellenbosch. I know they offer it. Fourth IR as well. They also offer a lot of in Fourth Industrial Revolution courses in UJ. There's a master's in just Fourth Industrial Revolution. I know it. So you can branch and walk around the. What I would advise is that you go to Google and then list down all of those careers in clinical research and then see how you can play around. Because with me, I'm not planning to just be a CRA for all of my career. I do want to maybe branch into quality management, something else. So I don't want to stay stagnant. I want to touch in different roles so that I can be, as I told you, I don't want to be redundant. I think people, when you stay in one place, one cocoon, you become redundant. So you
Yeah,
need to explore. I
yeah.
hope I did answer your question.
And the money, no, you did. And the money is good, right? I saw
Oh,
you shared a post on LinkedIn the other time. They were looking for a research analyst, and I was looking at the salary because it was there on the paper. The salary was between 473,716.68 to 555. 1,061.08. So I was looking at that. I'm like, per annum, this is not bad.
it's not bad. It's really not bad. The money is good. It's very good. I mean, we're selling medication to you guys, so you you our primary
Yeah.
consumers. So you literally, you're doing the work undercover, and you don't know. So yeah, basically, pharmaceutical industry is a booming industry. The money is good. It's worth it with all the work, with all the stresses. It's worth it. Yeah, you get
Maropene,
compensated very, very well.
accept very well.
You
Okay.
will see
Well,
your
how will
skin
at
starting
some
to
point?
glow. Pardon?
I'm saying. No, I'm saying I lost you a bit, but now when you
Oh,
came back, when the audio comes back, it comes back when you were saying you will start to see your skin glowing.
yeah, man, you will. It's not bad, believe me, it's not bad. I just don't
Yeah.
want to lie to people.
Can
It's
you
not
still
bad.
see me
It's
and hear
good.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. So it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a manageable salary. You can do what you need to do and still, be okay. That's the government.
Why is it that? Yeah. Why is it that coming to the skin glow? Why is it that when people do well, the skin is the first one to show
I
that
get it.
hey,
You
we're living out
happy.
here?
You happy. You now get to buy the good products. You go to the dermatologist. If you have, I don't know what they call them in English, it's shubabas. When you have shubabas, you go to the dermatologist and then you
Yeah.
get your skin checked. You take your skin to the lab, they evaluate it, they see what's wrong with you,
Skin
and then
products.
you come back, you get the medication that we have developed for you. Like, so you would now take those medication, and then automatically, step by step, your skin starts to come out. You become okay. You clear up because you now can afford certain products which are now accessible to you. So lebaka ke tšhelete.